Are you ready? Let's go! Are you ready? Let's go!
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Sports Dad, and I'm in the building once again. Yeah. Hey, listen, happy Friday Eve. That's what I like to call it. Once again, don't rain on my parade. You feel me? Happy Friday Eve, and we made it through another week. And tomorrow we're gonna go to work, and we're gonna finish out really, really strong. But listen. Basketball has started back up. High school basketball has started back up this week, and I know there's a lot of people that are excited about that. And, because I'm excited about it. I mean, the parents was feeling it, I think, just as bad as the players were, to a certain degree, because it's kind of therapeutic when you can see your family member out there doing their thing. And so we're excited about that. And we're rocking and rolling this weekend. We're going to make it do what it do, because it could be a little bit worse. But if you are in the chat, first, I'm going to ask that you go ahead and subscribe if you're a first-time listener. And then after that, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and share the information. And then lastly, if you want, it's up to you, but that would be dope if you would just go ahead and just let me know that you're in the building just by simply commenting in the chat, and we can make it happen that way. Okay. But listen, I got a special guest lined up for us today, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time. And we're going to talk a lot about basketball. We're going to talk about recruiting and all that good stuff. And listen, I told you I was going to bring it to you, and there's nobody that's bringing it to you like this. And so without any further ado, we're going to listen in, or I'm going to bring in the guests, and then we're just going to make it happen right after this. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Listen, if you are a proud parent of an athlete, or an athlete that has been tuned in and benefiting from the information, now is the time to let that be known by simply going to the web address below, that's listed below. You can access my new merchandise. That's right. And you can actually be a part of the Sports Dad Club. Go ahead and head over to my Teespring account, take a look at the merchandise, and go ahead and make a nice purchase. We have different styles of shirts. We have t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and hoodies in different colors. So go ahead and head over to my website and make a purchase, and be proud that you're a part of the Sports Dad Club. Another thing is that if you have been tuning into these live sessions and tuning into the YouTube channel and finding this information helpful with the interviews, the educational information, then you want to help me keep this going. I told you guys that the ultimate goal is to be able to financially compensate my guests that I'm bringing onto the show, because their time is very important, and they have been so kind enough to devote some of their time to us. And we all know that time is very important. So we definitely want to show a level of appreciation to our guests that we are bringing onto the show that's giving you these major nuggets. So it will be awesome if you guys could financially support. If you want to support this particular channel, make sure that you send all donations to the Sports Dad Cash App address, which is listed below. By doing so, this definitely also help us keep up the good quality of interviews and puts us in a great position to keep the information coming. So if you're enjoying this information, make sure you support. We definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to share the information and like and subscribe to the actual channel. And if you're in the live session, make sure that you come in with your questions and your comments, because we definitely want to hear from you. Let's get back to the live session. All right, people. So listen, at the end of the day, we're making it happen, and it's all about the kids and the actual parents is getting as much information as out there as possible so that you can have an actual idea of what it's really like and what you should be doing in regards to your child's future and young athletes and what you should be doing and what you should be working on as well if you want to play at the next level. And speaking of the next level, listen, this guy that I'm bringing on, he definitely has the experience, from a coaching perspective, and he has definitely helped a lot of players, which we're going to talk about, get to the next level. And this guy knows the secret sauce to running a successful program. Listen, I'm talking no other than Detroit's own Coach Henry Wydell. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule, man. I know you're just getting out of practice and everything,
Man,
and you know,
the grind
yeah,
is here. I'm blessed to have it, though, man. We happy to have a season going on, so we practice every day from 5 to 7. But I'm glad I can make time to get on your show, man, and talk to you for a minute.
yeah, I appreciate that, and shout out to my homie, Calvin Watson for
Yes, sir. That's my brother.
For looking out for me, and I and getting in contact with you. But listen, man, like he was talking about, because it was at one point that we didn't know that if the kids were going to have a season or whatnot. Talk about a little bit about that, how that was affecting you and affecting the players.
Oh man, it affected. I know it had an effect on me. I've been coaching for 17 years, and I had a routine. And just to have last season stripped from me, when my guys had a chance to win the district, we was playing for the district championship that Friday, and they got taken away from us at home. We thought we had a good chance to win it.
Right.
To come in and to not having no summer ball with my guys, the bond, to getting them to build them up, to know what we're doing, to come into the school year.
Right.
Not knowing we're gonna have a season. I mean, I can speak for my program, but it took a toll on my kids and me. I didn't know what to do. I'm not used to going right home, or being at home all day and not going to the gym. And
right.
for some of my guys, it took effect on their academics. just being online on the computer, and then I had to tell them they got to stay focused and keep working. You can't let this. You got to look at it as a situation that's in front of you, an obstacle, and we gotta deal with it the best we can.
Right, absolutely, and and with this whole COVID thing, we're kind of muscling through. We kind of went through it with football. It was a situation we didn't think we were going to play, and then boom, it was on and popping. So we're just thankful because it could be a little bit worse. Now, speaking of coaching and basketball, talk a little bit about what actually got you into coaching. And talk about your career.
It's funny, man, because one of your former guests, his father is the reason why I'm doing this. Him and another gentleman named Marcus Webster. Rashad Phillips did.
Oh, wow.
Phillips.
Okay.
That's like a brother to me, man. We all grew up in the same youth program, and I was a little feisty little guard that always been a leader my whole life. I've never been a follower.
Right.
So when it was I experienced death early when my mom passed it at 19, 20.
Wow.
And Verge and Mark, they kind of pulled me in, and said, "Hey, we're not gonna let you get lost or caught up in the system." And they started having me come doing gym sessions at the St. Rita where I grew up and played at.
Right.
And I started doing sessions. And from doing sessions, I tell everybody, I might don't brag or boast, but I did it the right way. I started coaching middle school girls.
Okay.
And then I switched over to middle school boys.
Mm-hmm.
And from middle school boys, I went to junior varsity at Persian.
Wow.
And from there, I went to top assistant at Persian. And from there, I became the head coach at Persian. So I just put my time in, grind and worked and stayed focused and tried to sponge up as much as I could from people that was around me that I thought, knew what they was talking about, what they was doing.
Wow, man. Wow. So, and that's a pretty extensive resume. You talk about doing things the right way from a coaching perspective. You went from ground zero and got experience, from not only, the young men, but you also got an experience from the young ladies as well. So you actually got that,
I actually coach high school girls varsity too, with the great Lisa Blackburn. She's passed now, but I was her top assistant, and then so I did it on all levels. I don't coach all from middle school on up to high school, boys and girls.
Right. Wow, man. That's a I see the progression, man. So next step for you is, I see that that D1 college coming.
Man, I want to stay here. I got my family, my kids are here. I'm not into coaching college ball. I like helping the kids, the ones that they said weren't gonna make it, or or couldn't make it. I'm not aspiring to be a college coach. There's nothing that's in my, my plan. I just want to stay in the city and
Right.
give back and just keep giving back so guys can be better than when I was when I came up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, let's talk a little bit about, your coaching. How long did you coach at Persian?
I coached at Persian for 15 years, 14 years.
Okay.
14.
Wow. Wow, man.
I was the assistant coach for 7, and a head coach for 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Started young. Didn't know what I was doing. Very competitive. Made some enemies. I had to learn how to deal with. It's okay to want to win, but you got to still, respect others. So it was a great situation for me.
Wow, man. And a lot of people, just so the audience, know those that are on now and those that are going to come back and view the video later, coaching that Persian, it's a big deal.
No. It's an honor. And it was many days that I stood in that gym by myself and was like, wow. You think about Will Robinson, the great Johnny Golston. I mean,
Yes, sir.
AW Canada for bringing in what he did. Those were some hard shoes to fill, and I
Right.
was and it was an honor for me to just try to fill those shoes, and I did my best I could over there trying with that program. I
Okay.
still work at Persian now.
Oh, wow. So speaking of, speaking of Persian and your success that you actually had there, it's my understanding that you you won some titles over there too, right?
Oh yeah. Got 5 city championships, 4 or 5 of those. One state title,
Wow.
2009 with All American Keith Applin, Mr. Basketball. Also Derek Nix, Mr. Basketball in 2008. But we came back. My first year was 2012-13, and my first class that I coached was Khalil Felder, who got
Yeah.
drafted by the Cleveland Cavs, and Martez Walker in that group. And we went 25-1, got ranked in the country. We was top 20 in the country, and did some great things, man. My very first year, my final record was I finished the season 26-1. I mean, the one loss we took was to Romulus in the quarterfinals, one game away from the Final Four. And Nate Oates, who's the coach of Alabama University right now, that's who won the state championship that year.
Wow, man. So how long did it actually take you to discover the essence of a winning program?
Not long. I'm gonna be honest, man. Persian was kind of struggling from 2001 to 2003, and when I walked in into a situation where there was a lot of good players on the team, and my brother AW Canada, who's now training NBA players and things like that, he had the program going. He had it kind of like in the right direction where guys was going to go to class and the structure and the discipline. And I just came in and tried to sponge up as much as I could from them. And it wasn't hard. It was tough to keep it going because
Right.
of the dynamics of the schools, the charter schools coming in and different things coming in. Of course, the Persian went EAA at one time, which means the state took over us. It was tough to keep the
Wow.
program going. That was the most challenging part of being at Persian.
Right. And and you stood up in those times of adversity, man, because I've you had a lot of success over there, and
Yes.
and speaking of that too, earlier you talked about, when we were talking about the whole COVID thing, you talked about that you're bonding with your players. How important is that to you?
It's very important because you're going to get on their nerves. If you're a good coach, you're going to do things to upset them. That's going to say, "Look, I can't stand Coach so and so," but if you challenge them, if you hold them accountable for the things they do, hey, getting to practice on time, making sure all your class work is done, not getting in trouble, they're going to have, especially this new generation, they're going to have, a little bit of resentment towards you. So you got to make deposit in order to get withdrawals. And what that means is you got to spend time with them, take them out, let them know that you love them and care about them before you can discipline and get on them and be hard on them. And that's
Right.
just something that I just go by.
Wow. And that's I like what you said, be able to make deposits before you would make withdrawals, because there are a lot of people and coaches out there that do a lot of the withdrawing, but not deposits. So talk about the whole, okay. So you're at Persian, and you're coaching there and things of that nature. And you talked about the bonding and the whole bonding piece. But what are some of the things that you do for your team, or some of the things that you were doing while you were there at Persian to help the whole bonding piece? What were some of the things that you were doing there?
Well, what we tried to do was go out. We went out eat a lot of times, just have like team meals, do things like that. But the biggest thing, the most important thing to me, and I don't harp on it too much because people feel how they feel about it. I kind of made my guys go to church you know what I'm saying? We try to go to church 2 Sundays out of the month, to my church or a church of their choice, just to, you know, put that, instill that in them, the
Wow.
foundation, you know. So it wasn't, if you didn't believe in it, I didn't force it on you, but if your parents was okay with it, we would get together and we would go to my church and we would fellowship. And after we would go to church and eat, I would have guys like Horatio Williams, who's a great sponsor for the public school for any kid. He would treat my guys to Red Robin and eating and different things of that set. So we did a lot of things of that thing, just trusting each other, building each other up, different activities at you know, a sleepover at the house. We all come over, stay at Coach's house. Things of that such, you know, just things to make them know that you care, that you really care about what they're trying to do and what they're becoming.
Right. And I'm glad that you said that, because, you know, that whole spiritual aspect is huge. And, being respectful, it's a thin line as well, you know, because, you know, people have a right to believe what they believe. But at the end of the day, it's huge. And but talk a little bit about, you know, I also noticed, too, that from a motivational standpoint, you know, sometimes you like to bring in people to talk to your players.
Oh yeah. Any ex-alum, I feel like anybody that's walked or dealt or been around the city of Detroit know what it's like to grow up in the inner city, or just period. I want you to come around and tell the guys your story. You know, whether it's a successful story, it's a halfway, whatever. Your
Right.
story is to why you where you at in your life. So a lot of times I will have guys, even former player Keith Applin, who made some mistakes in his life. He came back and spoke to my guys and hey, look, this is what I did wrong. These are the mistakes I made, and we're trying not to do. NBA players, Aaron Brooks, Tawan Porter, who's a Reach alum. He said, hey, coach, he's in town. They playing tonight. Hey, come up and speak to my guys. Let them guys know what they can do to be successful. From Derek Coleman, Carlos Rogers, anybody that I have a connection with, I want to talk to my guys all the time to let them know what it takes to be successful and to make it.
Right. And it, you know, in this pick, you mentioned his name, but but this guy, you know, was in the, you know, I think he played for Oregon, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
And then made it to the league. You know, played for a few teams there, and I remember him playing for the Chicago Bulls specifically. You know, at one point. So, and that's huge, man. You know, when you are able to do that for your players, and, you know, from a motivational standpoint, man, it make them believe in you and your program, you know, make them want to run through a wall for you, bro.
No question. And I don't have some great kids at Persian, man. Shout out to the Persian alum.
Yeah.
And it was just the reason people say, well, why you leave Persian? If it was time. You know, I still work there, but I coached there for 15, 16 years. It was just time for me to move on, and I moved on, and now I'm coaching out at Warren Lincoln. Which is on, shout out to Warren Lincoln, the Age, right there on 9 Mile and Van Dyke. And I'm trying to build a program, and I got it going in the right direction. Like I said, we was a game away from winning the district last year, went to the championship conference game my first year. So this year 3 for me, and I'm looking to build, you know, good quality men out here in society. That's what it's about. Basketball is secondary. It's books and ball. So that's just my job. And we use ball to let them guys know. I tell them every day in practice, how you work in here is how I know what type of human being you're gonna be in life. If you're a hard worker, if you take shortcuts, if you're a quitter, you know, we got to fix those things and make you successful. And that's the main goal.
Absolutely. And just so everybody know, you know, this, you know, Coach Wydell is an excellent coach, because I actually been watching you from afar. I actually can't, you know, because I like keeping up with high school basketball. I used to play high school basketball right down the road from you guys at Osborne, who had a terrible program back then. You know, it came out in '99. But
our little brothers.
Yeah, you're right. But you know, but a lot of my homies went to Persian though. But so I know the history, and But I come a lot out to those tournaments. I seen you at Renaissance, and playing some of the top teams there and things like that. And I also remember when you had Keith Applin, Juwan Howard. I was at those games and I was seeing you doing your thing, man. You get pretty intense, but you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, them guys, man, one thing about them guys all work, man. I tell people that y'all see the end results, but at the end of the day, them guys really, really put in a lot of work academically and athletically, man.
Wow.
And if I can't deliver no other message to all your viewers, understand you can be as good as you want to be. If you're not going to take care of the books, it don't even matter.
Wow.
It don't even matter. So I know guys see guys when they're grown, but when you saw those Persian teams was 3.0 GPAs,
right,
and 3.5 guys.
Right.
And, I know I sent you a list of guys that we sent to school. The most important thing, all them guys got degrees. Some playing professional, some not. But all them guys got degrees that went to college. And that's the main goal for me. I want to win. Don't get it. I'm not going to sit here and say winning is not important. It is. But the main goal is to make sure these guys are successful, getting in school and getting degrees.
Wow, man. So, talking about and talking about the list, bro, so my channel is really based on, high school recruiting. And I try to get as much information out there to parents, about the recruiting process, especially those that are entering into high school and they don't really know what to expect. And for players too, so that they'll know what they need to, know what they need to be shooting for and things like that. And I started this journey because of my own boys, and it really was dealing with football, but I also want to take a deep dive into basketball because it's a little bit different as far as the whole recruiting thing. So, but this list that you gave me, bro, I mean, it's a slew of people from 2005 all the way to 2014.
And I that's what I said. I mean, I got 15, 16, 17, 18 that I haven't added to the list. I mean, from Justin Tillman that played at VCU, who's playing overseas. I had who else that came through there? Maury Diane played at Buffalo.
Yeah.
DeJuan Seal went to Ferris. Ron Hill, he playing at Macomb right now. So it's about getting to school. The list is longer than that, but I'll update it soon.
But here's the kicker though, because a lot of these guys say, hey, I want to play at the next level, and specifically they guys want to go D1. I'm seeing Michigan State, I'm seeing Ferris on here, Eastern Michigan, University of Michigan, DePaul, Kentucky State. So you have that experience from a coaching perspective. So. What is the role of a coach in regards to recruiting?
Man, it's your job to not pimp and use kids. I said all the time, you have coaches out here that have kids that can get 20, 30 points a game. But then when it's all said and done, when they're a senior, well, what can you do for me now? Oh, well, you don't have no grades. So I think the biggest thing I learned it from AW Canada, man, shout out to AW, is that education. Stand on top of the books, because basketball take care of itself. But you gotta stay on top of the books. I don't care how many buckets you can score, how many dunks you can get, how many block shots you can make, how many rebounds you can grab. If you have no grades, it doesn't matter. And so I think just staying on top of the books and having character. That word means a lot with me. I use it with my guys all the time. Your character. What type of character do you have? How do you carry yourself? And handle yourself. And I think that's what college coaches, the ones that I talk to, look for. They ask the first question, well, what type of background is he? What's his how is he? On that level, it's a business. They can't bring nobody to the university that's gonna, tarnish their name or their program. So character, and taking care of business in the classroom is very important.
Wow. And, because the only reason why I asked that question is because a lot of situations, a lot of instances where, high school coaches, they don't necessarily feel like, some, not all, but some don't necessarily feel like it's their job, to get them, get them playing at the next level.
A coach spends more time with a kid, probably right now in this day and age, more than a parent. They have the kids in the gym all day. It's got to be your job. Don't let that kid play if he don't have no grades. You're not doing your job. You're doing him a disservice then.
Wow.
So it is your job as a coach to make sure academically he's in line.
Wow. Wow. So to that, so to those new coaches that are out there, you know, that are just getting into the game and, they want to be successful, obviously, from a coaching perspective, they want to have a successful program.
Mhm.
What fundamental aspects can you advise them at this moment right now?
The one advice that I would give any coach is that I tell all my coaches is desiring to be head coaches: structure and discipline.
Mm,
Structure and discipline. You got to have structure and you got to have discipline, and be able to hold your kids accountable. If you can
right.
hold your kids accountable, I think great things that come if they understand structure and discipline. They should be okay.
Wow. How can they, and how do you recommend that they build relationship with, with college coaches, to be able to say, hey, I got I got a guy over here, that I would like for you to look at or whatnot.
Just the best way I can tell you because it has changed since
Hmm.
when I was coaching AAU ball. I coached AAU basketball, and it's funny you ask that, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. The best way to get to know coaches is to have players. Coaches come to you. It's a business. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I appreciate
Coaches, coaches come to college coaches come to coaches that has players. If you don't have no players, they're not gonna pay you no mind. I've been at Warren Lincoln 3 years, and all the college coaches I know, um, I still talk to them. I can call them, but ain't too many of them been in my gym over here at Warren Lincoln like they was at Persian. So
that.
I'm
Right.
getting to that level. So it's all about relationships. Going to camps in the summer, going to different team camps and seeing different people and reaching out, asking, can you bring your team to their games and can they get to see the locker room after the games and meeting the assistant coaches and different things like that. It's just about communication and relationships.
Wow. And and from you mentioned it because you started to hit on it. You said AAU and you used to coach AAU. How important is, I guess, how does AAU play into it? Because it seems, at one point things shifted.
Man, AAU ain't used to be as big as it is now. It's really as a high school coach,
Yeah.
is like sad. It's overly important. It's almost more important than high school.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
almost, and I'm just being honest. It's just
Yep.
almost more important than high school, and it
Wow.
shouldn't be that way, but it is. So
I agree.
AAU is right now in this day and age and time that we living in. AAU is very important.
Yeah. Because at one point it seemed like, the power of recruiting was literally with, the high school and that, over years it shifted
It shifted.
now to, to AAU or whatnot. So, and which is why also too, that some coaches is kind of like discouraged to try to get their
Send their
players
kids, yeah.
right.
Some coaches don't want to send their players out to play AAU because of all that. Someone else get control or can manage, especially if the parent don't really know what's going on. It's a big deal now. AAU is very big and huge.
Right. So, and coach, we're just about almost done too. Talk to the players, the young athletes, who want to play at the next level. Tell them, we understand the importance of education. In fact, for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about education and bringing on guys that have degrees to talk a little bit about that. But talk a little bit about what type of performance, statistically, if you want to play at the next level and get noticed, what type of performance should you be at and should you be displaying when you perform out there on the court?
Oh, performance. Like I said, first it will start academically, where when the coach come to me as a coach and say, "Hey, first thing he'll ask, how can he qualify?"
Right.
That's the first. Can he qualify? So
Right.
when I tell a coach, "Yeah, this kid is a 3.0 student," then it's off. Okay, now we got something to work with. So
Right.
I believe academically, I believe putting in a lot of overtime, working on your game when your coach is not around.
Right.
That's what's not going on with all the other stuff, the distraction with these young guys and the generation got. It's not a lot of overtime being put in. And what I mean by overtime, time on your own, time
Right.
when the coach ain't around. So I would tell young guys, you got to just keep working, find a way to get in the gym to play. But the most important thing is academics. And I know you say a lot of people aren't talking about education.
Yep. Yep.
I'm a big stickler to that. Academics is the most important thing because I don't care how good you are. Listen to me, young people. I don't care how good you are. If you don't have no academics, you cannot qualify to go to nobody's college.
Wow.
And that is the most important thing in your high school career is making sure that your grades is on track to qualify for college for the next level.
Wow. Wow, that's deep. And
Yeah.
throughout this whole interview, your message, I noticed that most consistent message has been academics. And so
All day.
yeah,
Most important, the most important. I have seen tons of talent that didn't cut it academically, and they talk about they woulda, coulda, shouldas.
right,
You know, and it hurts us. It
right,
hurts us as a
right.
whole. So that's my biggest message, man. Make sure you take care of business in the classroom and you take it serious. The importance of it. You got to take it serious.
And here's my last question, Coach, and I appreciate that. You're giving some great information. Last question, what type of mistakes have you seen, what type of mistakes have you seen from a parent perspective? And what can you advise the parents in regards to their child's future?
Mistakes. Not letting their kids be held accountable. Not letting them fight their own battles. One to come in and say, hey, my son should be out there. You know, my son, why isn't my son on the floor? Instead of saying, hey, let's see what your son is not doing to make sure that they're on the floor. So I'll just advise parents, find the right coach for your child, the right school, someone that cares about them, not just their ability to play, about them being successful in life, and allow that coach to coach them. Allow them to do the things that it's necessary to be successful. If you're late to practice, you pay. If you don't show up to practice, then you don't play. If you don't take care of your business academically, then you don't dress.
Right.
And don't get mad, and support the coach and understand the coach is there trying to help you make sure you have a successful young man in your household or young lady in your household.
Wow. That's dope, man. And because a lot of parents, just like you said, they don't allow their kids to to develop and become accountable and and things like that. And so don't preach the same message as the coach is preaching the same message, which makes it difficult.
Makes it hard.
Creates that conflict, from a coaching perspective, though. But listen, Coach, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, man. Like we said, you just fresh out of practice.
Man, I just want to say that. I not to cut you off. I'm in my car sitting in front of the school. I got to get on here. We practice from 5 to 7. So I didn't try to belittle nothing like that. It's just the school, my service, my phone don't work in the building. So it was a lot. I'm like, man, I got to get on here and do this. I appreciate you. I'm supporting what you're doing, brother. I'm with you 110%. Anytime you need me, reach out to me, and I'm a phone call away.
Oh, yes, sir. Before you go, I just got a comment. This dude say, "What up, Doughboy Purging class of 02 alum coach Henry is a legend. Wish him the best at Lincoln." Corey C. So, yes, sir. Obviously, somebody. Hey, man, yes, sir. Man, a lot of people know who you are, bro. You're doing a good job, man. Keep up the good work, and we'll be in contact, and hopefully we can have you back.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, y'all take care out there, man, and understand it's all about the kids first and foremost.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach. Have a good one.
All right. You too.
Sir. All right, man. Yeah. So, that was listen, it don't get any better than that. It don't get any better than that. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Like I said, the whole goal is to get as much information out there as possible for coaches, young athletes, and parents, because we all need to be educated. And, if I had this information when I was growing up, things probably would have been a lot different. But a lot different for me. So, but at the end of the day, we're getting this information out now. So please make sure that you're sharing this information, share the channel, go subscribe, and we're going to keep making it happen. I'm working on some stuff. I'm working on some really, more good interviews and more good interviews that I'm trying to have. And I'm creating good content on the actual channel. It's trying to put as much information out as possible because we need to get it out, because I see it all the time. So make sure that you're doing what he said. First of all, academics is huge, and from an academic standpoint, we can't preach that enough. We've been on a rant about academics for the past 2-3 weeks. I've been bringing on people, and I'm going to pick that back up. And I had a guy a close friend that reached out to me today, who's a lawyer, right? Went to the University of Michigan, and he's an actual lawyer now. And so, African-American, not racist by a long shot, but at the end of the day, we can do it too. And so, so I want to share this information and get this out to you guys and share it with you. Just soak it up and be a sponge, and take it to the next level. Now that basketball has started, hopefully, you have worked on your game, and because now it's an opportunity for you to get out there and perform and show what you're all about and be consistent. And one of the things that coach said is that putting in the work when no one is looking, putting in the work and no one is looking. So that's the key, putting in that extra work, not just what you do in that practice, but putting in that extra work is going to separate you and help you to stand out and help you to dominate. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. I'll be back next week, same time, same place. And just stay tuned because you never know who I'm going to have on the show. All right. I really appreciate you guys. Stay safe. And once again, finish out your week strong. All right. There you have it, folks. Another great recruiting session in the books. Definitely there were some huge nuggets that were dropped, and hopefully you're walking away with something tangible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we post new information. And also, too, if you want to support the channel financially, be sure to send all donations to $SportsDad CEPH, and that's also on my YouTube platform as well. Make sure that you stay tapped in. And until next time, I'm out.